Hey, it's Retro Logic. You're listening. We're talking. That's the slogan now. I don't know. That just came out. John earlier was like, Dan, did you come up with an intro yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't. So we're just going to keep winging it until something sticks. I don't like the one I did tonight. So in case you were wondering, that's not going to stick. But we're here anyway. We're talking about Star Fox today. And as always, I've got with me John Cummins and Sam Wagers. And we are Shannon-less tonight. We're just dropping like flies. Every week somebody's out. I was almost out because we went camping last night, guys. And this thunderstorm came through, and I swear the rain was coming in sideways, like under the little covering over my tent that's supposed to block us from the rain. And we were all just wet. Everything was just soaked inside the tent. Worst night of sleep I've probably ever had. And I have 3 kids, so.
Yeah, they don't make tents really with that waterproof anymore. It doesn't seem like. They're good for a light shower, but if it's like a storm, yeah, you're going to be wet.
And we didn't know. We thought it was just going to be rain. We were like, that's fine, whatever. But no, it was rough. It was rough out there. Kids were freaking out. Dog was freaking out. We brought the dog, which was the first time we've done that. And that went relatively well, but like, she's real nervous about everything. So probably won't bring her next time. She should probably just stay home. Anywho's, John, what have you been up to?
I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X.
It's the
new one.
Mm-hmm.
That game's totally different than I remember playing the first little bit. So getting back into it's
played on
way
Wii U?
more MMO-ish.
Yeah,
if that's even a possibility. Sam's probably like, I thought they all were. So this was John, more like create a character and all that. You
played it on Wii U then?
I played a good portion of it, but I have not finished it.
Yeah, but
I've put about 10 maybe hours in it over the weekend. It's very get that mission, turn it in based.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy the world.
World's gorgeous. I've also played it at launch on Wii U because there was nothing else really to buy. And
that was the case with most Wii U games.
I rushed, I didn't rush the game, but I was really gunning to get that Skell, that mech. Like I really wanted to get in there and fly around, and then you get it and you realize you can't fly right away, and then you're like, okay, play some more. Once you can fly in that game, it was kind of over for me. It's like, yay! I'm done. I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, getting that first ground scale, you're like, well, this isn't what I was thinking was going to happen.
It's a good game, but I'm also not like Xenoblade is just not a thing that's for me. I have tried it a couple times and I never really got into it, mostly because the battle system makes my head explode. But that's also just neither here nor there.
It's really, once you dive into the battle system a little bit, it's actually pretty simplistic for the most part.
It really is.
It just seems very hectic at first. Like there's usually a lot going on, or you think there is. But really, it's almost memorization, just learning the patterns of when to use your moves. Like, because they all induce like a different status effect. Like you're trying to either knock an enemy down and then combo off of that with a different move to like throw them or whatever. And then you're doing like a major attack. So once you learn your character and learn which moves do which things, it's basically kind of boring. Like you just kind of sit there and let them auto attack, and then when it fills the gauge to do the skill you want, you use it, and you just use them in order. So it's definitely
really
not
doesn't
as
matter what you're fighting. It just matters what your current character and loadout is.
Correct. Yeah. Now some of the later games get a little bit better about it because especially 3, you switch out a lot of, like, you're always switching characters out as far as your playable character. So it gets a lot less boring. You're actually playing, 3 or 4 different types of characters, whether they're offense or defense. So there's definitely some different play styles there. But in the first game and in this game, it's so far for me, it's just like, remember which of these 3 skills come in the sequence and just spam those as you're getting requested to. But no, I highly recommend if you could at least go back and try one out at some point and see if the combat system is the only thing that's keeping you from it. I definitely think if you put a little bit more time into it and get the combat system down, it's worth playing. I wouldn't let that scare you from it if that's the case.
We'll see. It's also kind of the time factor.
Yeah, you have 70 hours to put in the game.
It's a hefty, that's a big old, that's why I won't go back to Fire Emblem, because I'm afraid I'm going to spend 40 hours and not like it again. So for me, it's more like, I'll just play the next Zelda and be happy, whatever. But we'll see. Maybe I'll have a big old chunk of time on my hands coming up. Sam, what's been going on with you?
Quite a bit of N64 love, actually.
There you go.
Happening.
Yeah.
I actually got the NSO controller. I bought this from Tim, our friend Tim. So I got
Sweet.
that in. I was playing a little bit of Jet Force Gemini on the NSO app. Because that really is one that like you need an N64 controller for.
Yeah.
Like, you use the C buttons to do specific things, and I mean, you pretty much need to like hold Z and go through C buttons to like run and aim and stuff. So that was interesting. I want to go back to that game. It's very like it's very like a 1990s game. You know, like they do not make games like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Almost for good reason, but like it's
Jet Force
it's weird
because
it's such a confluence of like 90s rare. Like it's all of 90s rare at once. Like it's got a little bit of like GoldenEye Perfect Dark in its DNA, but also a lot of like DK64 collectathon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
That's a little how I felt about Star
have
Fox. Star Fox Adventures made me feel that way about. It's like, oh, this is a bunch of rare stuff. Also Zelda. It kind of made me feel that way. Jet Force Gemini, I fought the controls a lot. Maybe it's something I have to go back to now that I have more of a tender heart towards those kinds of games.
Oh, they're definitely not easy to adapt to. But the thing is, I've just learned I have a high tolerance for weird controls.
Yeah.
Because if it's doing something different, I can appreciate that. If it gives you the ability to do something that's not just, the basic steer your little guy around and aim at things, I see value in that. Whereas a lot of other people just get frustrated immediately. And I can understand why, but, I'm about to defend Star Fox Zero today, so, what do you want me to say?
Does it give you any ability, like, does it give preset control schemes, like, that you could choose from, like, to change it? It's been a while since I played it.
It's on the app, so, I mean, you can remap buttons, but I don't think the in-game options have anything. I don't know what else weird. Makes sense. Probably the weirdest thing is that you have, like, a Z aiming mode, which allows you to use the C buttons to like strafe, but you can also just sort of run around and it almost auto aims, and it does a pretty good job. Like it almost tries to help you out in that way. So it's kind of weird figuring out what you can get away with without having to go into aim mode.
Yeah.
What they call manual aim mode, I think, because it has a kind of auto targeting, but some enemies are like so high up it won't ever lock to them. So yeah, the other one I just wanted to shout out because with the NSO crew, I think it was almost 2 weeks ago now, but we played some of Iggy's Wrecking Balls on the app.
Oh boy,
it was legitimately fun. We had a good time. I think that is one of those games that like is stupid fun when you play it with friends because you can just mess with each other. I don't know that I'd like say it's objectively a good game, but like if you are looking for a 4-player game, it can actually be a good time.
I rented that game as a kid, and I have nothing but bad memories of like disappointment and like how dumb it was. Like I hated it. I was like, man, I spent my weekend money to rent this game.
It's also not what you're expecting.
No, it's not.
Like,
it's a racing game or something.
Because it's weird how the game works. Like it's all about the grapple mechanic.
Yeah.
Like you'd think it's like a rolling around like Super Monkey Ball kind of thing, but no, it's all about this like grappling up. But you can also like grab the other players and like flip them behind you and smack them in the ground, and it's weird.
That's pretty handy though.
It's a whole thing. Anywho's, let's go ahead and jump into Prices Retro, then we can rock into some Star Fox. If this is your first time playing Prices Retro, it's a little game we play, and we'll go over how it all works. I'm going to list off 4 or 5 games, and everybody else here is going to guess how much the lot of games is worth in total. Whoever's closest wins that round. And then it's the next person's turn. They're going to list their games, and we're all going to guess. Whoever guesses the most times correctly, or closest, wins the episode. I hope that made sense. We also have some AI players. We have... all right, who wants to do the AI players? Who wants to explain that?
We have Leonard the Dinosaur guesses the average retail price at release of each game. He can't do consoles, so he just kind of sits those rounds out. We have our robot, Deus Guess Machina, who guesses the average of all the hosts' guesses for his own. And the ghost, Poltergeist, who guesses $300 every time. And is probably like the AI player with the best win record.
It's weird.
Probably.
It's weird how that happens.
Well, especially because he's been around the longest, but I think even controlling for that.
Yeah, the robot works better when we have more people, but he still works sometimes.
Anywho's, so hopefully everybody has their list ready. I know I do. And we're going to go with Sam first on this round. So, Sam.
All right. I have a pretty fun little theme here, starting off with Buck Rogers' Countdown to Doomsday for the Sega Genesis, complete in box. Then we have Duck Dodgers for the Nintendo 64, loose. Commander Keen, Invasion of the Vorticons for the PC, loose. And Linus Spacehead's Cosmic Crusade for the NES, complete in box.
Ooh, never heard of that in my life.
All very Spaceman Spiff kind of characters and titles.
Good stuff. John, your first guess on this one.
I'm going to go 275.
I went a bit lower on that. I went 220.
Okay, well, the total is $480.46.
Oh my gosh.
So quite a few of these more expensive than you'd expect. Duck Dodgers for the N64 loose, $101.43. Buck Rogers Countdown to Doomsday for the Genesis, complete, $44.50. Commander Keen Invasion of the Vorticons loose, $84.67. This is the one that's just like crazy expensive for some reason. Like complete is like really high.
A PC game?
Yeah. Complete is $300.03.
Oh geez.
Some of those are just bananas.
And Linus Spacehead for the NES complete, $249.86.
So what was the total again?
$480.46.
Okay,
that's
going to be the robot.
Yeah,
or the robot, the ghost.
The ghost. Yep.
I knew I should have guessed over the ghost.
Got to guess over the ghost, man. I wouldn't know what I was thinking. I mean, half these I've never even heard of. So
yeah.
John, it's your turn for your list.
Okay. So my list is a group of my favorite on-rail shooters.
Let's go.
The first game on my list is Sin and Punishment Star Successor for the Wii. Complete in box. The second game is Pokemon Snap for the N64.
So good.
Complete in box. The third game is Afterburner for the Sega Master System, complete in box. And the fourth game is Space Harrier for the Sega Master System, complete in box.
I've been guessing low lately, so I might adjust this a little bit. All right. It's my guess first. And I'm gonna go 150.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I got 250.
Should have gone higher.
I never know with those complete in box games. I feel like I can't lowball those.
Okay. So the total for this lot is 162.88.
Oh,
so
nice.
Dan takes it. I think. Let me make sure that the dyno is not sniping you. Nope. He guessed 200.
Ayo.
That means you.
I got a point.
All right. So
Sweet.
To run down my list, Sin and Punishment for the Wii, Star Successor, complete in box is $33.15.
And well worth it.
Pokemon Snap for the N64 complete in box, $99 even. Afterburner for the Sega Master System complete in box, $14.96.
Oh yeah.
And Space Harrier for the Sega Master System complete in box, $15.77.
Yeah.
Most of those. I guess complete in box doesn't add much to those. That's where I was wrong because I was just those games. On the first two.
There's a few Master System games that are pretty expensive, but yeah, those are not.
Yeah, so for $30, you can get two really good Master System on-rail shooters.
Master System's a nice system to collect for. You get some great games for pretty reasonable.
There's some good... the Master System to me feels a lot like the Wii U Switch situation where a lot of the gravy from the Master System got ported over to the Genesis.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's still some gems on there that didn't make it over, but a lot of the good stuff made it over to Genesis as well.
So my list is a bit of a curveball. I did all of the Nintendo Power issues that feature Star Fox on the cover. So I think the retail price,
the dyno's out.
That's not going to work. But
you decommissioned him.
You guys can have your fun with this. Figure out because Nintendo Power is all over the place, but it all kind of lives in the same neighborhood usually. So we have Volume 47, which has the Star Fox Super Nintendo on the cover. Volume 98, which has Star Fox 64 on the cover. These are all. So there's two rankings of how they do quality on price charting, and it's like loose and complete in box. Complete in box
with poster.
Complete in box is basically like with poster with inserts.
Yeah.
So that's what we're pricing on is with inserts and poster. Star Fox Adventures issue, which is 161. Star Fox Assault, which is 189, and then Star Fox 64 3D, which is volume 270. And then there was no Nintendo Power
after that.
Star Fox Zero came out. Yeah. That was pretty close to the end there. Wasn't it like 289 or something?
I mean, it's got to be close because the Nintendo Power ceased pretty close after the 3DS.
Yeah. I think it's 289 or 286 or something.
It's like 2012, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, the last issue number is what I would remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, you're first.
I have no idea when it comes to Nintendo Power specific issues. I'm just going to say 125.
Okay, I think I'm going to guess 75.
All right, total 6144. So not crazy expensive as far as Nintendo Powers go, but I'll run down the prices just so we have them. Original Star Fox is 16. Star Fox 64 is 17. Star Fox Adventures is 10. Star Fox Assault is 10. And then Star Fox 64 3D is 7. And change in there. So, yeah, they're all around the same, $5 to $15 ballpark for the most part, except for a few issues which get up in the hundreds because they came with a Pokemon card or they came with some.
And they're only worth that if they still have it.
Yeah, e-reader thing. Exactly. Yeah. So, There's a few issues that are worth more than like $20, honestly. And like issue 1 is worth like 300 or something, which is kind of insane because there's like a million of them floating around.
So,
and the last issue is worth money too.
Yeah. First issue, last issue are the most expensive, I think.
Yeah.
I have a pretty rough copy of issue 1 that I got from Eric Plunk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He offered it to me, and I was like, I don't really. I have a hard time spending a lot of money on paper. You know, I want a good deal on my paper if I'm going to buy it.
He gave me a good deal as far as issue 1 goes. So.
That's good. That's good.
All right, so we have a 3-way tie between Dan, I, and the Ghost. So how we usually break that tie is who got the closest on their round.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like, let's see, Dan was $12 off. $12.80. Man, this is close. $12.88 off. I was $13.56 off. And the Ghost would have been way off. So Dan wins.
I'm back, guys.
Because the Ghost won on that first on Sam's lot, and it was like 180 difference.
How'd your kids? How'd your wife?
That's right. Dan's on the loose.
All
right, Dan's
rock and roll.
Took another one.
Sam, you have a game for us tonight, don't you?
Yep. I'm bringing back a game we haven't played on the show in a while, and it's Name That Game. So I have some clues I have come up with myself that are clues to the title of a game. They don't really have anything to do with the game, just with its title. So you'll
what?
See. We've done this before.
Maybe not with me.
It's just silly.
This was a Mike game, I think.
Yeah, you used to send us lists of these.
Okay.
So all right, here's the first one. I stubbed my toe, and I am feeling great pain. The highest amount of pain. You might call it this.
Max Payne.
Max Payne. There you go.
I was thinking like total total carnage was my guess.
All right. Number 2. He's the last battle dude.
He's the last battle dude. Not bad dudes, is it? No.
I'm trying to think of like
Final Fight.
Which Final Fight?
Final Fight. 2. I don't know. Final Fight.
I have no idea. The
Mighty Final Fight
guy. The one that was the Blockbuster exclusive.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Next one. As you are crossing the desert, if you see a small body of water, keep going.
After Oasis.
I had Beyond Oasis.
Or Beyond Oasis. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is it after Oasis a thing?
No, it's
Is
Beyond.
that another thing? Okay. Yeah. I was thinking Beyond Oasis.
Yeah.
All right, next one. The bear has changed. He is an
Altered Beast.
Altered Beast.
Oh man.
There you go.
This is like a
John,
Sega lot here.
You're killing it on this,
John. I was on Sega for a while.
John's killing it.
I got another one. The ball is in your court, King of Asgard.
Lord of the Rings blast ball.
Oh, that is.
The ball is in your court, Lord of Asgard.
So hold on a minute. That would be. Odin Sphere?
Yep. Odin Sphere.
I got it.
It's a ball. It's a sphere.
My brain's not working tonight.
That's okay. You'll get one of these. I got 2 more. All right, just 2 more. My artist friend is obsessed with classical Greco-Roman sculpture, especially the material they love to use. She's crazy about it. She has this.
Marble Madness.
Marble Madness.
Goodness gracious, John. I don't know how you're getting these. I'm over here like.
We're what was I going to guess? Wavelength, I guess.
I was about to guess like I forget what I was about to guess. Something stupid. A xenophobe.
At first I was like,
the fun thing about coming up with these is that I have no idea if it's going to sound really clever or really stupid.
That's both.
Until somebody else hears it. It probably is both. All right, last one. I was inspired to create a new dance move based on the awkward movements of a deer that I saw one time. It's called the blank.
Dance moves.
Rain. A deer that I saw one time. So like doe a deer, female deer.
Buck Bumble?
The Buck Bumble.
Oh, the buck.
It's the new dance craze, the Buck Bumble.
Buck Bumble.
No way.
Yeah,
John,
dance.
Yep.
John, you're crazy. I don't know how you got any of those. This is not my game.
Well, I'm glad you did, because otherwise it would just been,
he
5
got like
minutes
all of them.
What is Sam smoking? But
you got the Final Fight one. I was thinking, I was trying to put something else together. Final Fight was not coming to me at all.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I don't know where I was going with doe.
That was name that game. Maybe we'll have to dust it off again some other time.
That's a good game. I'm sure that's fun for the listener
I like
as well.
Coming up with them. So
yeah,
we used to do one back on board.
We used to do a game where I would read Wikipedia articles omitting the name of the game, and you guys would just have to shout it out when you thought you got it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one too.
That was a good one. That was easy to come up with too. I just read Wikipedia. Okay, let's roll on over to Lilat, and we'll do our part 2 Star Fox Extravaganza, where we're going to talk about. We're going to do Star Fox Assault, Star Fox 64 3D, Star Fox Zero / Guard, and Star Fox 2. And then we have some honorable mentions, and we're going to jump into the community couch to listen to your Star Fox hot takes. And all that is coming right up after this quick break. And we're back. We're talking Star Fox. We're talking 4 Star Fox games. We're going to run down this list, and we each picked a game to talk about, which is near and dear to our hearts, or one that we played recently. And of course, we can all jump in and say what we want to say. But to kick us off tonight, we're going with Star Fox Assault, which was picked by your very own John Cummins. So, John, let's talk some Star Fox Assault.
We shall. So to start with, Star Fox Assault is a game that I don't know that I've ever finished. I know it's not super long. I tried to put some time into it to refresh my memory because I hadn't played it since it came out on GameCube, however long ago that was now.
Too long ago? 2008, I want to say.
So it was after Adventure, right?
2004. It was right at the end.
After Adventure. Because it has Crystal in it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So that was something I was kind of thinking of as I was playing back through it here recently. I still didn't finish it. I think I made it to the 4th level. So I almost halfway. And I definitely could see where they were trying to keep some of the things going from Star Fox Adventures. Like they were drawing from its inspiration, I guess, with some of the on-foot stuff, but you definitely get a good amount of the in-ship as well. They kind of throw you in there at the beginning. They also do a lot of hand-holding at the beginning that I wasn't really thinking of was going to be in this game. It's kind of before the Wii generation of 1-hour tutorials, but they do kind of give you the first a little bit of the game is going through everything pretty good. This game's controls are pretty rough. Like you could definitely tell that. I don't think it started out with the on foot stuff or something, because the controls for that, for the most part, is kind of what makes it hard to deal with. Obviously, the on rails portion of it is pretty much like Star Fox 64. I also do think it's really like, you could see the almost like the DK64, how you can change the weapons and stuff. It feels more like DK64 than it does like GoldenEye or something. As a third-person shooter,
or Jet Force Gemini,
or Jet Force Gemini.
Yeah, but that's not even rare. That was Namco that popped this one out. So
yeah. But I have a feeling that they had the same. We're probably given the same tools and stuff to make it in the same assets and things.
They certainly had like a rubric to build off of and kind of put their own twist on it.
That's what it feels like when you have Fox and you're like scrolling through a sniper rifle or just random guns that you wouldn't think Fox would have. Like in fact, I don't even think he has like his just blaster.
Isn't that, if I could be getting this wrong because it's been a long time, but I think that's like his default gun when you run out of ammo of everything else.
Yeah, maybe. It could be. Maybe that's why. Maybe I just wasn't using it because it was not very good.
No, it's not. It almost feels like the controls to me feel like they tried to give you vehicle controls for your on foot section.
Yes.
Because the tank feels really good.
But I think it's because it moves faster.
Yeah.
I think the problem with Fox is that he's really slow.
Or almost like strafing is too fast, but your actual movement is weird. Like,
I don't even know if I can explain it.
No.
But anyone that plays it will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The controls definitely feel, they're not even like it's not like that they don't fit. It's just like that they weren't worked very well. They weren't calibrated to the game very well. Yeah. It's not like a weird control scheme.
I get the impression that I think what they were at least trying to do was to make sure all the different modes, like R-Wing, Fox on Foot, Landmaster, all control similarly, except the result is that most of them just feel weird.
That could be the case.
Yeah. To me, the Landmaster felt the most natural.
Well, I mean,
and
the R-Wing, it feels exactly like the rest of the games, so that's probably the most natural.
That's true too. But
as far as the land vehicles or land travel.
But Sam, you're probably right about that, and I wish that they didn't do that because it doesn't matter. I mean, we play games now like Star Wars Battlefront where you can like jump in a spaceship or pilot a walker, and they're all different, or you're a guy running. And it doesn't matter that they're different control schemes because you just learn it and then you figure out the game.
They had that in this era of gaming. I mean, you had Battlefront.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had Star Wars
PS2.
Mm-hmm. And it was a similar like format, but they just sort of couldn't get their control scheme down. And it just, it's really annoying because the rest of that game is really fun. Like, I have a lot of fun. Multiplayers are really fun too.
The map is also trash. I spent way too long looking for, essentially it's like a fetch quest. Like you have to, or go eliminate this target, type deal inside of the alien ship.
Yeah.
Or the base or whatever it was. And I spent, it's several levels, like as far as like, you're inside of the building and there's staircases and ramps and all this stuff going on. But it's like 5 or 6 levels high, and the map is just telling you, it's basically, it never changes as you go up a level. It just puts the dot in the same spot. So it's like, okay, well, it could be here, but I guess maybe it's 5 levels up. So you're just constantly, and there's no way to change the map layout to know where you're supposed to go. You're just guessing at that point.
It needed Metroid Prime's map.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they had a blueprint for like really great third person.
Yeah.
Or not third person, but first person. They could have just made it to where you're playing from Fox's point of view and use like a Metroid styling, or and even for like the map, they could have made that even something more like hologram like effect, like in Metroid as well.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess I'm complaining about the game a whole lot, but the first couple of missions are really fun. It's just whenever you get to where you're controlling Star Fox on foot, that's when it kind of gets harder to deal with, I guess.
I just remember when it came out and everybody was like, oh yeah, this is the Star Fox game we wanted. We want vehicles and blowing stuff up and piloting our R-Wing. This is what we want. But like, it did not review very well.
Nobody bought it.
And like, people bought it, but it like, I also remember doing the multiplayer, which was probably the highlight of that game for me. Mostly just because when you're with your friends, you can doof around. The quality kind of doesn't matter as much anymore. But yeah, I have bones to pick with the controls. I have things about it I like, but yeah,
the music is good and it looks good. Like, it's a good looking GameCube game. It's just it's like I said, it's controls that kind of get you out of it, but I think it's something that could be fixed. Like if they went to remaster it or something, something that could be helped later, especially with, I mean, Nintendo's always been kind of slow to modern control schemes, especially, I mean, even Splatoon doesn't use that. It uses its own control scheme to an effect.
Yeah.
So we might not ever get that.
We didn't have motion controls yet, but we also didn't get a Star Fox Wii game. Star Fox was very absent on the Wii.
That's because I think it's because they doubled down on GameCube and DS, and it just
that's right. We had our DS game, we had our 3DS game, and we did Star Fox Command last week, which is chronologically the next game in the series, and canonically the end of that timeline, which
ends.
If you care about lore, that's endings of the timeline. If you care about lore, that's that. So we're gonna leapfrog over Command and talk about Star Fox 64 3D, which is a total remake of the N64 classic, the game that kind of is everybody's favorite and the game that every Star Fox game is judged against. I've been playing through it over the past few weeks. I did 2 paths. I did kind of like a whatever path, then I tried to do like the hard path. And I have a lot of great things to say about it because it essentially takes almost everything I love about Star Fox 64 and just makes it better. Graphics are better, sound is better, voice acting is great as usual. I just so wish that they would re-release this on a system with a good controller. Because I'll tell you, like, if I sit down and want to play a round of Star Fox 64, I'm gonna grab the Nintendo 64 before I grab my 3DS.
You don't want a circle pad?
It's not good. Like, it's not a good joystick to use for this kind of game. There's lots of places.
Is there a option to use touch controls like Command? Because I almost think that would be better.
I didn't see that. There is motion controls, and I did find the gyro controls to be a little better because you could do a lot more finite handling with your reticle. But then it almost has the Star Fox Zero problem where since my reticle and my piloting is disconnected, it gets a little wonky. So I never found, I did like the touch controls on Command. And I actually didn't look and see if that was an option. I didn't see it when I was messing with stuff, but maybe I just missed it. But I'm a little bit of a purist maybe when it comes to my Star Fox 64. And if to be totally transparent, if I could like plug a Switch Pro controller into my 3DS and just have it on like tabletop mode and play Star Fox 64 3D with a regular controller, that would be awesome. Like, heck yeah, I would be so down for that. But the circle pad is not a great thing to use to play Star Fox. Just, yeah. So that, I don't know what else to say, really. I mean, it's a great version of Star Fox 64. I would say, other than the controller, probably the definitive way to play Star Fox 64. I want them to re-release it on Switch so that I can play it better.
Maybe we'll get a NSO 3DS app for the Switch too.
That would be rad. I would not be sad about that. That'd be excellent. Would buy it again. I'd be curious how they handle the two screens. Maybe it's like big screen, little screen. We've already seen it.
They're going to have like a little screen attachment for it.
What? You're making stuff up. Be quiet. So that's kind of my spiel on Star Fox 64 3D. Love it. Hate the controls. No, sorry. Hate the controller. Not the controls. Controls are fine. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Star Fox 64 3D?
What was the what'd they add to it? Anything?
Not that What?
A whole dimension.
Well, yeah, but
I tried playing it in 3D too, and that was cool for a little bit, but it didn't help me play better, so I turned it off.
I actually was a little curious because I never played Star Fox 64 3D since I don't really go for remakes a lot of the time. But I do think some of the 3DS games that use 3D best are those that have you, flying forward. Like Kid Icarus Uprising comes to mind. So
it was good. I think the problem I have is that my reticle stopped lining up when things were in 3D. So I had to kind of fudge it a little bit. And then depending on how much 3D you give yourself, it like changed. So I just went, again, some of this may be my problem because I'm a Star Fox 64 purist. So you can take everything I'm saying with a big old rock salt because, I love me Star Fox 64 on the N64. And I know that game so well that this felt a little foreign to me. That being said, amazing game. If you can stomach the 3DS controls, I think it's the definitive way to play it. I can't, and that's a me problem. But I don't believe they added a lot of content. They had multiplayer, and I don't think there were any like new levels or anything. Not that I could like discern.
That's what I was curious about because usually they try to add something.
Yeah, I could look it up really quick when on the next round. Speaking of next round, Sam, it's time for you to convince me that Star Fox Zero is a good game.
It's an overlooked gem.
Yeah.
What about Guard?
Well, I'm literally not kidding when I say, like, out of all the games on the Wii U, because so many of them did get ported or sequeled on Switch, I don't have my Wii U anymore. The game I actually would be playing on Wii U if I still had it is probably Star Fox Zero. Like, there's only two games that really matter to me on the Wii U at this point, and it's Nintendo Land and Star Fox Zero. Like, the other great games on Wii U are basically on Switch now, like Mario Maker, Splatoon. I know they're sequels, they're not the same, but
3D World.
A lot of those are very similar. They kind of got improved and moved to Switch. But yeah, I mean, it's really the controls that get a lot of people. I will say that I think the controls don't really click until you've basically finished the game once.
Right.
One thing that I really noticed is that I think where the gamepad controls shine the most is probably in all range mode, specifically on some of the bosses. And I think the best showcase of this is the alternate exit to the first stage. There's a secret boss you get if you take a hidden route through Corneria. And because that is a boss you fight in all range mode, there's a bunch of turrets on it that you have to take out that are shooting at you. And it periodically has this force field that blows up, so you have to like fly away. So you basically have to do strafing runs on it. And that's where being able to aim, perpendicular almost to where you're flying is super helpful, because it means you can actually hit these things while making a very quick pass. And you have to do that, and you have to line it up, and it actually like justifies itself in that moment. I think that the on rails sections, it kind of does just feel like a gimmick. Like, I didn't mind it, but it's almost, from what I remember, you can kind of get away with playing the game without even using. Like, in the early stages, Peppy will periodically like remind you to use your motion controls to aim, because like you actually can get by without doing it, which is kind of a weird decision. I almost think one of their mistakes was not leaning into it entirely. Game tried to do a lot of things, so I'm not going to argue that all of them were great, but I think there's still a very fun game to be had there at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't mind even on the on-rails sections, and the on-rails sections are, they're good Star Fox levels.
Yeah.
I think the thing that probably fell flat the most for me is the helicopter sections. The walker's okay. I feel like it didn't necessarily improve anything. I'd just as soon stick in the R-Wing. That goes for Star Fox 2 as well. But the helicopter sections are like quasi-stealth missions, and that's just never good. Stealth missions in non-stealth games are just never all that good.
Yeah, preach. Yep.
So, I don't know what to say about that. But I think especially the addition of those things on a game that was already a little bit too content thin, especially for Wii U generation standards, really just meant people didn't have enough time with the core gameplay before the game was over. Most people gave up on it after playing through once. They beat Andros, said, fine, I'm done. They probably didn't even play those bonus missions that you can unlock. I was curious. I looked up reviews. Reviews, I think, were actually pretty fair to it. Like, it got a lot of 7 out of 10s. It got some 8 out of 10s. I wouldn't argue it's better than an 8 out of 10. I think 7.5 is fair. Like, it's a good game. It has some flaws. I think a lot of that comes back to it initially being Project Giant Robot and Project Guard. It's kind of like Star Fox Adventures in that respect. It got morphed into a Star Fox game kind of late in development and kind of cobbled together. And I do almost wonder if instead of bundling it with Guard, they had just maybe fleshed it out a little more, or just made it like a like 2/3 price game like Captain Toad, if people would have been a little bit nicer to it.
To Guard?
And that's not to say Guard is even bad. It's just I think it's completely forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just no way around it. Like, it's a fun tower defense game, but tower defense games are things you download on your phone for free. There's just no escaping that, Nintendo.
Yeah. I see a lot of your points, and I think that my sort of experience with the culture of Star Fox as a whole at the time of Zero launch definitely colored my experience with it. And that's probably true of anybody who was around experiencing it at launch.
I think it's very true of Adventures too.
Yeah, again. Big time. So my experience going into it for the first time was my expectations were so high just because it looked amazing. All the footage they showed, like, it looked incredible. And it was like, yes, finally, the Star Fox game we've always wanted. We're finally getting it. And then it doesn't, again, Star Fox 64 purist, it doesn't really like match up what I wanted, So now I'm sitting here like, okay, like, this is really disappointing. How do I come back from this? And so you kind of spend the whole game, or I spent the whole game sort of trying to learn the controls, trying to figure it out. And I will say it has a lot of really great high points. And to your point, the all range mode really feels amazing. I think that I, like, again, just like you said, like, once I beat it, I was like, that was something. I'm going to put it away now. And then you kind of get caught up in the culture of like, well, everyone online, or not everyone, but a lot of people online are complaining about it. And I don't know that I was getting involved with that at the time, but I certainly had my own problems with what was going on. Did not like the gyrocopter missions at all. That was a mistake. To your point. But I do want to go back to it and give it a fair shot. You know, where we're at 15 years later, 10 years later. Because you make a lot of good points, and I think that it deserves sort of its shot. Just like Star Fox Adventures now has had its shot, and it's like, oh, this is actually a really great, like, rare adventure platformer. So yeah, that's what I'll say.
Maybe you'll learn to appreciate it as much as I appreciate Adventures.
Yeah,
which is, you know, it's okay.
It's good. It's yeah.
I still don't love it, but
I just need to play it.
Yeah,
I know.
I will say too, I think the other weird thing for the people who do get caught up on the lore was that it was essentially like a reboot of the franchise. Which I was fine with, having played Command. Like, that left nowhere to go. Like, you kind of had to do that at that point. It is a little awkward. It feels like a step back. Like, we're just doing Lilat Wars again. Like, that's one point I'll put in Assault's favor, is that it actually tried to, like, take Star Fox in a new direction plot-wise.
Yeah.
Whereas everything else has been just hung up on repeating the first game, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've tried to, I mean, that's been a challenge for Star Fox as an IP, is to say, like, where do we go? You know? I think me and most of the fan base, like, see it as so much greater than it currently is. Like, the potential is so strong is there. And you see fan projects, like if you watch the YouTube series A Fox in Space, which is essentially like, this guy's an amazing animator, and he gets some voice actors, and he makes this like noir, like, crime solving style.
It takes
like,
forever to make.
It takes forever to make, but the episodes are so good. Like, the writing is so good. I'm here for it, man. Like, he's doing the Lord's work, because he's like giving us sort of like characterization and lore that we really want, and it's really well done. But that's sort of where the fan base is. It's like, we see it as so much greater than what Nintendo sees it, or how we think Nintendo sees it. But they're a business, and they have to figure out how to sell their stuff. So I don't know.
Well, and it really is bizarre, because Star Fox is Miyamoto's baby, right? Yeah. And he doesn't do anything with it, but then he just puts it on other stuff. It's so weird.
Yeah,
like, right. It's happened multiple times now.
Yeah.
You got Dinosaur Planet, you got Project Giant Robot, and it just, I don't know what that says. Like, I guess it's just his creative, like, methods.
Right.
But it's like he comes up with some wacky gameplay mechanic first, and then just decides to make it Star Fox, rather than thinking, what can I do with Star Fox?
Right. Yeah, it's backwards.
Sounds about right.
Or feels backwards. You know, it certainly works for him, as we've seen. But if we want a deeper story, we have to get it from somewhere else. And that goes for Zelda, too. You know? He's not the story guy in Zelda. The Zelda.
I say maybe he just doesn't know where to take it anymore.
Yeah.
And he's just throwing it on things, seeing if it works.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we have one more game in our timeline, and that is Star Fox 2, which is the Super Nintendo game that was never released on the console. It was only released on the SNES Mini, and then it was later released. Now it's on the Nintendo Switch Online service, so you can go play it on your Switch. And I played it fairly recently. I had a pretty good time with it. If you like the original Super Nintendo Star Fox, this is more of that with a little bit of Command thrown in. Or I guess you could say Command threw a little bit of Star Fox 2 in.
A little bit of Zero, too, with the walker.
Yeah, a little bit of Zero in there with the walker. So, not a lot to say about it other than the just the story of it's really interesting. I mean, they had this like practically complete, like for all intents and purposes, complete Super Nintendo game that they shelved because they said, well, the N64 is coming out. We have to push that 3D looks amazing now, and this does not look like Star Fox. This does not look like N64. So we're going to make a different Star Fox game on the N64 that looks better, and we're going to shelve this because the marketing it's not going to look good. So, but it's a cool piece of history. It's you can beat it in an hour. Like, it's super duper worth going back and playing this game that was never released and just kind of experiencing it. It also features some new characters. Very cool.
Two new Star Fox team members.
Yep.
It added more members to the Star Fox team than any other game ever has.
True.
It's always the same ones.
Yeah, but they're the guys.
I guess you get Crystal in Assault.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. You get
Assault / Adventures kind of over those two.
But yeah, worth a play, especially if you have it on NSO. You could just pop it on. Not much else to say there, really. But we do have one more game to talk about for a little bit, which is Starlink. And I'm of the opinion that this was such a great partnership. I'm so glad they did this. I mean, it certainly helped sell the game on Nintendo Switch, but you could play the entire game as Fox and his team, and you would never know that it wasn't a Star Fox game. It's an open world Star Fox game. And I had a ton of fun with it. Flying around feels really good on the surface, jumping up into the atmosphere of a planet, then out into space, dogfighting in space. It all feels really, really good. I think a lot of the missions can be kind of samey, and eventually you kind of run out of they certainly ran out of steam as far as ideas for missions, because a lot of them are kind of the same sort of fetch quest type thing where you go to a planet, do this, whatever, fight this guy, whatever. Yeah. I imagine a future where we get this kind of Star Fox game with some on rails sections thrown in at certain points. It's a little bit what someone might have imagined a Star Fox game of the future would be, because it's so open. Yeah, it certainly has its issues. Also, just as an FYI, you don't have to own any toys to play this game. You can do all of it digitally, and it goes on sale very frequently. So I actually recommend checking it out. I think it's a great little thing on the Switch to have some Star Fox.
It always goes on sale.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft, so, but But if you do feel like having a toy, you can get a neat little R-Wing that you can display on your shelves. I have mine up there with my little Star Fox guys. It's a nice little thing you can have, and they're still pretty cheap on eBay.
I think I bought two of them. At one point, they were like $10 for the box that had everything in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It comes with some little weapons and stuff. So it's a cool little thing. But yeah, that's a nice little addition. I'll call that my Star Fox game on Switch, I guess, since we're obviously not getting one, but it is what it is. It gives me hope that that the franchise isn't just dead in the water, that they want to do things with Star Fox and figure out how that works. Gives me hope, at least.
I think it caught him off guard that I think the Star Fox portions of the game were more well received than the regular portions of the game with the other characters.
Well, the regular game is some weird IP they invented. I don't know.
I think the decision to put Star Fox in the game was probably driven more than anything by a lack of interest in Star Fox on Nintendo's part.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you can have it. Like, it gives me the same vibe as why Breath of Fire is on NSO and no other Capcom game is. I guess that's not entirely true. Gargoyle's Quest is on there.
Yeah.
And Ghouls and Ghosts.
But they're kind of in the same
There's a reason, like, for the longest time, Capcom wasn't sharing Mega Man.
Yeah.
Now, they put the Game Boy games out because they don't have a collection for that. But, like, they put Breath of Fire out there right away because they're like, yeah, sure, we're not doing anything with it.
Nobody cares about this.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was Nintendo with Star Fox when Starlink came out. Here's hoping they turned around and did it with Mario. Positive reception to that, and they're like, oh, people like Star Fox.
Yeah, we just don't like weird controls.
We're just not going to do anything with him still.
They'll. I have hope in my like gullible little heart that we're going to get a new Star Fox game, maybe even Switch 2 generation that soon. But in the next few years, something Star Fox will come. That's my sort of little plea to the universe. Well,
when did that was a 2018 game, wasn't it?
Boy, you got me on that one.
Yeah, I think so. It was early Switch.
17, 18, 19.
I'm thinking it was 18. I think it got announced in 2017, like right after the launch. They announced it. I think it was in like the first Direct, maybe after the Switch came out.
Oh yeah, maybe you're right.
Because it was still trying to take advantage of Toys of Life.
While we're looking that up, the only like added content or unlockables in Star Fox 64 3D was an alternate title screen and a sound stage.
Yeah, 18.
So nothing.
I was thinking.
October 18.
Nothing extra in Star Fox 64 3D. Bummer.
That kind of makes me feel better about not opening my copy of Star Fox 64 3D.
Oh,
it's still wrapped up nicely.
Yeah. It's fun. Like I recommend it, but it's also like
yeah. I could play it on N64 and
it's better on
not
N64.
have the alternative screen.
I actually playing it prompted me to order a grip for my 3DS off AliExpress. Just like a little cheap like snap-in grip because like I was also trying to play Metroid Prime Federation Force. And I have such a hard time holding my 3DS now. I don't know what happened over the past, because I used to play it all the time and I didn't care. But now it's a problem. So I don't know if I'm older or what. But
yeah I kind of wish they would have taken if they would have built something for it that let you have a joystick, kind of like the Circle Pro or whatever.
Plug a controller into
Circle
it.
Pad Pro, where you could just make it be a little bit wider so that you could put the joystick on the left side.
Yeah.
And just snap it in and let you use a joystick for the 3DS. Because there's other games that would have, done better with a joystick.
Yeah.
I appreciated a joystick.
I want to play Kid Icarus Uprising with a normal controller as well. Just throwing that out there.
Embrace weird controls.
Not that the controls are weird, but the controller has to be like holdable for extended period of time.
Get the claw, Dan.
All right, we have some community couch question, not question. We asked the question. We have some answers. So why don't we all pull that up and we'll go around the horn and read these off. Really, I was just asking for hot takes, positive or negative. And we can read these and see what we think about them. I'll go ahead and start here with Chris HL94, who says Slippy is the real hero of the Star Fox universe. No.
Of course, it's Falco.
It's Falco or Peppy. I would even argue Peppy is more of a hero. Slippy's
always in trouble.
Yeah, Slippy does do a lot for the team. He makes the tanks and the submarines and everything, but I mean, as far as pilots
he's the real hero, Star Fox Guard. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And then Grippy.
I was say, because in the other games, you're always bailing him out.
Fox,
there's somebody on my bogey.
Can't believe his name is Grippy. He also says we need Star Fox 64 remake for Switch or Switch 2. I'm right there with you, Chris. I want Star Fox 64 3D on my Switch. That's what I want. All right, John, you want to read this next one from Tim?
Yes, Tim, aka Neo Prime 33, also the Nintendo dad, says I would take a Star Fox 99, where me and 98 other people have to dogfight in the sky to a victory. I can imagine doing barrel rolls to get out of tight situations. Also, the ability to squad up would be very cool. Could go well with native voice chat on the Switch too, right? It says also give me the other pilots as amiibos.
Yeah, let's go.
This is a good point.
Yeah.
We don't have any other. We have Wolf, and we don't have the other guys,
need
which
Peppy
is kind of crazy.
Falco.
I need Crystal.
Well, yeah, I guess we do have Falco. We need Slippy and Peppy for sure.
I need Crystal. I'm gonna need that.
Dan needs his Crystal
I
amiibo.
need my fix.
He also says another Star Fox game I would take is a Star Fox game done by Ubisoft, building off of what they did in Starlink.
Let's go.
It doesn't have to have the Toys to Life part, but the game could be awesome. Which
I
Toys
think
to Life is dead, so that we definitely don't have to worry about that again.
I think I've said in the past, like, I would take a Starlink sequel that's like just Starlink with Star Fox doing stuff in Lilac. I would take that. That's so good.
It kind of does. Also, is crazy to me that they didn't do like a DLC. It was more Star Fox involved content.
There was DLC.
Yeah, but there wasn't a like Star Fox.
Oh no! Yeah,
only like they could have built
right
like a Star Fox mini game, DLC for that game.
Well,
they'd already built the engine and done all the things.
I think the game itself just didn't quite take off the way.
Well, I think that was tough too because it was multi-platform. So if they made Nintendo Switch exclusive DLC, that wouldn't have flown.
Well, I mean, that would just. I think Nintendo would be all over it because then they'd be like, okay, now you got to buy a Switch to play this DLC.
Yeah, I haven't played Starlink. I don't know about open world stuff. I just kind of. I really hope that Star Fox as a series can at least keep an emphasis on like on rails shooter sections, even though I know that genre doesn't really exist anywhere anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to lose its identity, but it seems like Star Fox has tried so many different things.
I could see Star Fox taking form as like a double A game, Sam. Like they don't have to make it
like Captain Toad.
Exactly.
Like, they don't have to make it to be full price.
They don't have to make a bombastic, explosive, huge, amazing game. Like dumb down the graphics. Give me just a simple rail shooter with some really good ideas. Throw my characters back in there.
One thing I think could work really well that still goes back to like the core Star Fox experience would be like an online co-op where you're all basically doing like an on-rail stage, but they overlap. Because that's like the Star Fox thing. It's like shoot the bogey off your teammate's tail.
Yeah. And
like you actually do that for the other players at different points.
That's cool. I like that. Multiplayer on rails. Sam, you want to read Eric's comment?
Yeah. Eric Plunk says Star Fox Adventures was just okay for me. I started playing it a few years back and got maybe halfway through before I had enough. I'd love to see a from the ground up remake with modern sensibilities.
I could see that. I'll also say, Eric, the thing about Star Fox Adventures is that there's some really amazing late game content that I would highly recommend you push through. Play it with a guide because there's genuinely some frustrating points where the game has no right to be this opaque. Like it's so obscure what you have to do and it's so dumb. So just get a guide. Like I did it. It's fine. Because some late game content is really, really cool and interesting. Story wise too. Although the ending is terrible, but I still think it's worth playing. That's my hot take. Is I totally understand. I gave up halfway as a kid, but finishing it as an adult really showed me that it had some legs to it at the end. So I would say give it another shot with a guide. Anywho, we've got Bozo, whose hot take is, I've always thought that Platinum Games gets more flack for Star Fox Zero's quality than they deserve. It's abundantly clear that Miyamoto had creative control of the project from the start to finish. Platinum was mostly just there to help with the technical implementation of Miyamoto's vision. I'm convinced that if Platinum were in charge of the creative decisions and unburdened by Nintendo, it would have easily been the best received Star Fox N64, if not better. Especially if Kamaya was directing it. I know how big of a rail shooter fan he is. Such a missed opportunity. The same can be said for Team Ninja and Metroid Other N, come to think of it. Yeah, that's interesting. I always think it's interesting to think of how...
Here's the problem. I only like 2 Platinum games, and one of them is Star Fox Zero.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Platinum fan.
Yeah, but I think that's a genre problem, not
Yeah. They kind of make these action
hack and slash.
Yeah. Hack and slash action games. Who made Astral Chain? Is that Platinum?
That's Platinum.
Yeah.
Platinum. That's the other game that Sam likes, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you're not the Astral Chain guy?
I fell off Astral Chain by the end.
What's
the
your
other one's Wonderful 101.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure.
The other weird Platinum game.
They're all pretty weird. But I would say...
I mean, as far as controls go.
I would say if
Astral Chain's probably closer to the other stuff.
I would say, just like Sam is saying, I'm not a huge fan of Platinum's output, aside from a few notable ones. If I were to give Star Fox to a developer, it would be Treasure in the early 2000s. That's what I would want.
Yeah. 100%.
That would be amazing. Because I don't know who else would handle something like this.
Well, just think if Metroid would even have been
Treasure literally shoehorns shooter sections into every one of the games they make.
Yeah.
And they've made games that are entirely super cool boss battles.
Yeah. And Sin and Punishment is a prime example of we know real shooters. So
I mean, they essentially just make what they want.
Yeah.
Which is what would have done really well for these 2 franchises.
Unfortunately, in 2025, they're more of a holdings house than an actual developer. But
yeah, I don't think they develop anything anymore.
Yeah, they're just re-releasing and stuff like that. But we can dream, can't we? We have one more. John, go ahead and read Drex, who's a relatively... He messaged me and was like, "You're doing a Star Fox episode?" He was really hype about it. So
yes.
Yeah.
He says Star Fox 64 is in my top 20 favorite games of all time, and my 3rd favorite N64 game of all time, followed by GoldenEye and Ocarina. I feel like Nintendo doesn't know what to do with the franchise. They basically plaster it on their experimental projects, i.e. Adventures in Zero.
Yeah.
And is relegated to guest spot in Starlink. They also don't know how to escape the shadow of 64, which is a shame because this franchise has a lot more value still. And hopefully when the Switch 2's lineup gets announced in April, there is a Star Fox there.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you, Drex. As a super fan myself, I mean, Star Fox 64 is my number 1 favorite N64 game. I also love a lot of the other games in the series, including, Adventure and Command, which are a little more experimental and don't quite stick to the same formula. I love the character. I want Nintendo to do more with them. What that looks like, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe they don't know. But I want to hold on to hope. I want to hope that I'm going to be pleasantly surprised by some rad Star Fox showing soon. I don't know.
I think this could be the time. I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's probably the franchise that hasn't had a game.
With a new console coming out, I think a lot of people are maybe more interested in, the next Zelda, the next Mario, the next.
Oh, we just had the next Zelda, and Mario
but
is understandable.
There's going to be another one, and it's going to be on new hardware.
But what Sam's saying makes sense. I mean, Nintendo doesn't throw experimental or low-selling software at a launch window. Usually, it's usually a Mario or a Zelda.
Except for ARMS.
But that was, I mean, that's the exception that proves the rule, because we had Zelda and Mario at launch.
Yeah,
so
but you're talking about
here's ARMS too.
N64 launched with Wave Race.
We're gonna get
the other title was a Game Boy game.
It also launched with Mario 64.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we'll get a 3D Mario and F-Zero.
You know what? That's not
Star
untrue.
Fox.
If we get Star Fox at launch, I think it's going to be what we were talking about earlier, where it's like a AA smaller title, or as part of something else. Kind of like a Starlink situation.
When's the next Star Fox anniversary?
For which game? For what do you?
I mean, just for the franchise.
Oh, 1993. So
we just missed it.
We missed it last year. I mean, they could do it in 2020,
2 years ago, I guess.
2028, and get 35 years.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even put out
but Nintendo doesn't.
They didn't even mention the anniversary of Star Fox.
Nintendo doesn't give a flying fart about anniversaries as far as game releases go, except for Mario.
Well, they do Zelda, and they do. Yeah, I mean, they've done other things.
They didn't.
I think it's more when it happens to coincide. Sure, we'll claim it was the plan.
The game's ready. Great.
If we don't make that date, then fine.
Yeah.
We just won't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to rush a game to get it out by its anniversary. That's for sure.
Nintendo certainly has its tiered, A tier, B tier, C tier IP, right? Like A tier, Splatoon, Mario, Animal Crossing now, Zelda. B tier, you got your Donkey Kongs and your Kirby's and your Yoshi's. Yeah. And so where is Star Fox on that tier? And I think that's what we're going to find out with Switch 2.
Might not even be C tier.
Bro.
I mean, hey, we have seen...
I'm talking about Nintendo's view of it, not
two
ours.
long-lived franchises in Metroid and F-Zero.
Yeah.
F-Zero, I guess, isn't 100% back to life.
But they're represented.
I mean, 99 is a new game.
They're represented. Yeah, there is representation. We're reminded that it exists.
Below Star Fox on the totem pole.
I don't know about Metroid.
The Switch era.
I
mean, yeah.
Star Fox had more games than Metroid.
After the GameCube, Metroid had Other M, and then
Prime 3.
Federation
until
Force.
Samus Returns. Yeah, Federation Force, which a lot of Metroid fans don't even count.
That's true. Star Fox had a bigger release.
But I think with Dread and Prime 4, it's definitely something they're interested in keeping alive. I think it's really what's his name is just interested in keeping it alive. It has,
Metroid has legs now, though.
Fighting for it.
Metroid has legs. Nintendo knows that the Prime series is beloved.
The real question is, does ARMS have legs?
I think that, wow.
I
think that the problem with Star Fox that Metroid has that Star Fox doesn't is that Metroid's releases, with a few notable exceptions, have been received positively. Like the whole Prime series, all the 2D games. You have Other M, which was and you had Federation Force, which they should have known. I mean, they should have known, right? They should have known.
Yeah, but I mean, those were the two back-to-back releases.
But they're giving us
and that
Prime.
came after Prime, but prior to Prime, it just sat out the N64.
But I'm just saying,
no home console.
I'm saying now we're getting Metroid Dread, we're getting Metroid Prime 4. They're starting to realize, here's what fans want. How can we do this economically? So I think Star Fox is in the running for that, and there should be a rail shooter around the corner because they know we want Star Fox 64. They know that. So let's move it along. let's go.
I mean, Punch-Out's in there too.
Oh man, a new Punch-Out. I think AA development is going to really be pushed in. I mean, it was on the Switch already.
Yeah, they were putting out a game
Yeah.
Every other month at least.
You would think so, right? Because of how successful certain indies are able to be.
Yeah.
And they don't even have marketing behind them.
Well, it's just economical.
Word of mouth.
I mean, you see
and
studios...
at the same time, how expensive AAA games are getting.
Exactly.
Especially outside Nintendo. Like, it's the same as the problem with Hollywood. That, blockbuster movies have gotten crazy expensive and they can't make money even when they sell millions of tickets.
There's no experimentation because there's no money in it. So Nintendo has to experiment. It's in their DNA. So they have to keep development costs down. And if that means that we get a AA Star Fox game, I'm here for it.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Pause crossed.
We might know in like a week and a day.
Yeah, right.
Well, and they're really comfortable doing that sort of thing with like Kirby, right? Like, we'll get like a dream buffet or something just because they're like, yeah, we just wanted to do something weird with Kirby.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. And
I think that's
Forgotten
because of Sakurai.
Forgotten Lands though was a slam dunk. I love that game.
Maybe Star Fox and like F-Zero and Punch Out, they just lost their
champion
fighter guy. Yeah, the champion in the office that nobody's pushing to get those games moving.
100%.
Kirby seems to have somebody in there all the time.
Like, we need a guy on the inside, man. One of us has to get hired at Nintendo, and we just work our way up. Just
for Star Fox.
Keep putting bugs in
and then we get
ears.
fired.
Like, hey, where's Star Fox? Every meeting.
We get fired.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Just whisper in somebody's ear. And it's not even about Star Fox. It's just like subliminal, like, plant the idea.
Do a barrel roll. You're becoming more like your father. All right, guys. I think we should wrap it up. Any other final thoughts on Star Fox before we bring it home?
Use bombs wisely.
Yeah. It's good advice.
Why didn't we ever get Guard on the phone?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like where it should have went in the first place. They definitely could have done that, and they brought
because they wanted you to buy a Wii U.
This is that. I mean, even
just
after
Star Fox Guard, you didn't do that.
Star Fox Zero was the bonus game.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. Thanks for listening to the Retro Logic podcast. If you're cool, then you're already here. What was I trying to say? I was trying to say we're proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, you can check me out on Blue Sky at retrologicgames.bsky.social. And in my bio is a link to our Discord where you can come and hang out with us and our retro crew, all non-toxic, cool guys and gals that love games. We do giveaways and you can guest on the show sometimes if you love something enough, and we'll come and hang out with us. You can also go to retrologic.games, which is our website, and on the website you can check out all of our other podcasts. We have like a movie podcast and a music podcast. Do we have another podcast? Just those three, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. You can. Don't I sound like someone you want to come hang out with on Discord? I think so. I think
if you like Star Fox.
If you like Star Fox, this is the place. I guess that's it. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye now.